Hello, good evening, everyone. Welcome to this week's edition of Sisters of Legacy. We are going to run our intro and we'll be right back.
Welcome to the Sisters of Legacy. They are building a community through great conversation. They are speaking truth. They are speaking life. It's time to do more. Join us each week. Welcome to the Sisters of Legacy.
All right, ladies, and we are back. So we have been, I feel like, the last couple of times I came on here, I say the same thing. We've been MIA for a minute, but now we're back. Like, I'm probably sure I said that last time. But so it has been a few weeks. So take about a minute or two and let's catch up. Vanessa, what's been going on in your world for the last couple of weeks?
Well, my last child graduated high school, and his graduation was the same day as his brother's birthday.
Nice.
So, Christian, that was very colorful for us to figure out how to individually celebrate two very different people on the same day. I'm still trying to recover. My mental has been
I have been
a mess, but I am now officially the president and the CEO of the Bad Mom Gang. I don't have any children in high school anymore, so I'm excited about this next chapter.
okay.
I like it. I like it.
Yes, you just get to be a little, more studious over your children because, they're a little older and they're not going to like that because they've already expressed, their disdain for my attitude. But, hey, next chapter, Bad Mom Gang, I'm your girl.
I like it.
Well, that was great. Definitely congratulations on the graduation. It sounds like it's a beautiful thing. I'm not quite there yet. I was a late bloomer, so it's still a little bit of envy going on. But I'm a clap it up for you, Shanetta. So share, what's your last few weeks been like?
Oh, nothing. A whole lot of nothingness. Okay, so last few weeks, went to Paris for a mission trip. In France, and then got to do a tour of Paris in a day, which was really exciting. The mission portion was super humbling and just a really good experience to experience a foreign mission trip. Done things locally before, but I've never gone out of the country to do anything like this. So this was super, it was very humbling in two ways. One, just to be able to serve, but two, being the foreigner in another country where you're not on vacation per se, and like people just talking to you and like you're looking around like, I want to talk to you, I really do, but like I don't know what to say because I don't speak your language. And having to have a translator to translate for you was a very humbling experience. Is the best word that I can really come up with to describe what we experienced. But it was really good. And then after the mission work, we got to vacation a little and to tour Paris and to tour all the hot spots in one day. I have never walked so much, I don't think, in my entire life. I thought we were going to be doing a bus tour of Paris, and we were not. It was a walking tour, and we walked the entire city of Paris, except for when we rode the subway twice, which was like riding a subway in New York. It was a lot happening, a lot going on. Random music, random, just like things happening all around you. But yeah, it was a really exciting experience, and I loved every minute of it, tired and all.
All right. Well, yay for Paris. Look at you ladies. Y'all are just, I want to be like y'all when I grow up. Get all the kids graduated, do an international mission trip, whatever the right way to say that is. I'm looking forward to doing all those things. My last few weeks have been children because I still have school age children. And when I say they are school age, I mean school age. So let's see. I got one going to high school this year. He
Yay.
just finished out eighth grade, and then one going to the 11th grade. So we getting
Yes.
closer to the finish line, but not quite yet. So my last few weeks has been getting them to the end of the year, which has been very, very interesting. So yeah, parenting, mommy, and then of course, the everyday life of work and just living in my skin. So that brings us to tonight. And our topic for tonight, as you guys can see going across the screen at the bottom, is how do you plan ahead if you struggle from day to day? Now, this topic can embody like a lot of different parts, of course, per usual, but not so much. I mean, it can be a financial thing, it can be like I have two children. I have one that is an extreme extrovert. She likes to go, she likes to be out front, she likes to do. And then I have one that is an extreme introvert. He doesn't like any of those things. Most days I'm not even sure he likes talking to me. So it can be in terms of your personality, like, how, like, I guess in some ways, I'm faced with that question, like, how do I plan for my son's graduation and prom or junior prom as they do in Georgia?
Get started now, because the way them coins get run up.
Well,
Sorry.
not the money part of it. Like I said, because he's an extreme introvert, you know what I'm saying? Like there's some things that's gonna have to be done that's gonna be a little unconventional,
Right.
to say the least. So like it can be a personality thing, like depending on your personality type. How do you plan ahead? If you're an introvert, how do you plan ahead? Because even though it's summer and cookouts are starting, and just like now is graduation season, and and all the things that the warm weather brings, outings and family trips and all that things. How do you plan for that if you're the introvert? How do you plan ahead if your personality is the issue? So like I said, there's many different avenues that this conversation can take. Or if your check-ins and your savings is on a delay, like if it's a I'm sorry, I said I wasn't gonna do that. if it's a if it's a financial thing, when you paycheck to paycheck or paycheck to almost the next paycheck, like how do you plan ahead? So there's so many different avenues that we could take. So ladies, feel free to venture down any road that you see fit.
I think the first thing that I wondered with the topic was what the struggle really was from day to day. So like hearing you explain the different avenues of what struggling could be and what struggling could look like. I think that it's super important that you know what you're dealing with and you're honest about what you're dealing with.
Right.
Because that helps you to kind of like meet the struggle, whether the struggle is financial. Okay, if I know I don't have a whole lot of coins and I want to do these grand things, how do I plan for that in advance? So that comes with saving, that comes with maybe cutting out something that you don't necessarily need. Like for me, if I know I need to do some saving, I know where I have to cut out. I gotta stop eating out a little bit. I gotta stop going to Starbucks in the morning, like in order to line things up to do exactly what I want to do, because that'll probably save me the money that I need to save. So you have to figure out where those sacrifices come in into play for you, but you have to be honest about what the struggle really is,
Right.
identify it, and then address it. Because it could be anything. And when it comes down to, the financial piece of things, when it's money, that's the struggle. You got to plan. You have to plan ahead. You can't just do stuff, by, a whim or whatever. You have to be prepared for all things called planning when it comes to that. Saving and discipline. I think discipline is key.
Right.
Ooh.
I totally agree with that. Vanessa, you need a minute or you want to? Okay. So I'm going to give Vanessa a minute. So I would say, like, for me, which may be very hard for people to imagine, I will say, I'm not in extreme. Hi, Taiwan. He said, paycheck to paycheck, you got to lean on your village to help lessen the financial blow. But if you ask the village a couple of times for help, you might be done. You're right. The village is good for a couple of times. Hey, can you help me stretch it here? Help me stretch it there. But eventually, you're right. That village will start looking at you cockeyed, especially if you're making more withdrawals than you're depositing.
Yeah.
And sometimes, it's like, yeah, can you help me with some money and I'll help you on this end, or, I'll do this. So sometimes you can barter. If you have, something you could barter, it can extend that I need portion. But you're right, Taiwan. At some point it may and very much will, um, kind of run out a little bit. Did you want to jump in there?
I'm like, I'm doing the show. Get out of here. Why are you talking to me? Go away. Ain't seen you in how many hours? Anyway, I think in general, sometimes the struggle can be less, but sometimes it takes some undoing. Like I've been in situations where it wasn't until hindsight, of course, like after I got into a situation, it was like, dang, I should have did this. If I was more in this area, if I was proactive with this, I would not have found myself struggling so much in the moment. So I think like when Shanetta mentioned discipline, very, I don't really care too much for that word sometimes, because when you really gotta get into it, like it really can be a situation, and not just money, like even like with weight loss. Like that's one of my things. Like I go on these crazy fad diets and do different things. Like if I got a trip coming up in 2 months, like that's just enough time for me to bust out like 15, 20 pounds. I'm in the gym. I'm not eating this. I'm doing that. Whereas if I make the gradual changes and be more disciplined in my diet, I can still eat and enjoy a lot of different things and not have that struggle. And then like money, if you need something, had you not done those 27 whatevers every week, you would have that money, and now you wouldn't be, in this bind where you're struggling trying to figure things out. So I think sometimes you gotta almost, bump your head before you realize that, these changes are necessary, unless you have the time and you thought about it. Like I was saying about prom and junior proms and all that stuff. Like it isn't just the money. And like you said, when you have a kid who's not like the typical, like Christian and Julian, they're like night and day when it comes to stuff like that. Because Christian, he outside, he want to party, he want to hang out. Have your friends come over. They got the money, so they come. I'm gonna get some nice presents, some nice, like that's his mindset. Where Julian was like, yeah, nah, I don't really want to do all that. Like I don't want to be around all these people and all. Like, nah, I'm good on that. So then, like you said, it's like, well, dang, I want to do something for you too, but what does that look like when you have? So then, like, maybe a family trip, or, like do something to devote something into, like something that they really like. But that planning and that struggle, it could be a lot.
Yeah.
So I listen, I definitely totally agree with that. That night and day with the kids, it is definitely hard. And it is going to take some planning on my part. A lot of planning and little, pulling and prodding for the next
Yeah.
2 years.
I think a lot of it is that like you have to be like, well, this is really not even about you. I know that we're celebrating you, but this is more about me. And
Right.
you gotta have to be honest about some of that stuff. Like this
Right.
is what we want to do for you, or what I want to do for you because of whatever reason it is. Because I've done that like with my kids along the way, the ones that are like extremely different. Like it was like, well, I'm planning this party, but it's not really about you. This is my party. I'm graduating.
Right.
And you
That's
get
part
this
too,
party.
because we need to celebrate. This is you.
So it's okay to kind of be honest about that, because a lot of times our feelings do get hurt when we're trying to plan ahead for what we want to do for our kids, and they don't want it, or they're like, I don't want to do all that, and you're like, but you do, like you really do want to do all this.
I'm gonna do it and you gonna like it. That's what's about to happen. Because even with Christian, he was like, "Oh my God, all your friends gonna be there." I said, "Bro, none of your friends have money for real. So, like, make it make sense. We finna party because you graduated, you gonna benefit, and you gonna enjoy it." So yes, I definitely agree. I think if we start thinking more like, this is for you, but really for me. It's how I want to celebrate you. Like, so this is how this is going down today.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I guess I'm left to talk about the character or emotional side of the struggle, which is, I promise, I don't know, like I know I've said this before, like the older I get, I feel like so many things have changed about who I am. I mean, of course, like at my core, I'm still a New York girl. Like that don't change. But like in a lot of ways, like I just stack on that. In a lot of ways, see, there it is. I struggle in my day to day. Not so much in my day to day, because at work I'm cool. Like, I'm in charge. You got to do what I say. You don't really got to like me because, I'm kind of like, I'm in charge. So like, work is pretty easy in that sense. There's not a whole lot of emotional whatever type stuff, because at the end of the day, I'm it for at least my location, and it kind of just what it is. But like outside of work, I definitely feel like like I struggle a lot. Like even with Lexi playing volleyball and going to the games, like I don't know, like I felt like I was orange. Like sometimes I feel so awkward around people because I don't even know. I guess it's hard to put a word on exactly what makes me feel awkward, but I always find myself like being extra careful about what I say, or extra careful about what my face looks like. Even though half the time I might be looking in your direction, but I am not thinking about you. So like whatever's going on, that or may not be going on with my face, kind of like has nothing to do with you. Get over yourself. I don't care. But like, being an adult and having to navigate every day, I can't always have that take on it. You know what I'm saying? Like I can't always be like, whatever. Although on the inside part, I would really like to be like, whatever, I don't care. But I find definitely now that, I spend a lot of time struggling with like my interactions with people. Um, yeah, at different times during the week. Like I'm always like, oh, should I have said that? Oh, maybe I shouldn't have said that. Oh, dang, I could have said that. Like not even like in a rebuttal type of way, but just in a getting through the moment. And so a lot of times, I struggle with that. And like I be in the car on the way home, like, why? Or on the way to somewhere. I'm like, why are you tripping? Like, get yourself together. And I have to kind of like talk myself through like, being able to get there and show up. And then definitely like I have to be selective. Like with a lot of stuff, like sometimes if people invite me places, I have to kind of like think about it. Is this an event where I'm gonna have to wear the fake smile and try to get through the moments? Because I'm not coming. I don't feel like that today. Some days it's just like I can't put on the face today. Like if I can't show up like 100% me, like I just I'm gonna go ahead and sit this one out. But it is that constant if and or but type deal. And yeah, and that's definitely now that I'm older. And I don't know what I don't know what the driving force is, but I find myself in that space quite a bit.
I feel like from what we were taught as children and how it was always about people's perception, what other people think, I think for me, like undoing all of those things that I was taught as a kid, not to say that they were bad, but a lot of them are like a frosted donut with sprinkles on it. I don't like sprinkles no more, so I need to flick all of those off. You know what I'm saying? So for me, like I think a lot of times it's like, yeah, I don't really care too much about what you think. So sorry, not sorry type situation. So for me, like I said, growing up, it was always, mind your manners, don't say this, don't do that, always show up, always this, always whatever. And to be in the space where you have the freedom to say, you know what, I think I'm going to pass on this event. Um, if there's anything else I can do for you, if I, however else I could support you, I'm willing to do that, but I'm not about to, play that game. You have people who send you text messages about, like different things that their kids are doing, and then you feel that obligation, like, dang, I probably shouldn't. As you get older, you should be able to, like have more freedom to kind of be okay and still feel safe in those moments where, like you said, like I just really don't, want to do that. I just don't want to show up. And I think, like for me, I think outside of work, I don't really have all of that. I don't know. I don't know what my face be saying. I'm pretty sure most of the time it's not good because the way I find out, like after a few minutes, and they be like, "You okay?" Be like, "Oh, yeah, no, I mean, I'm good." So apparently, whatever I was thinking has definitely translated all over my face, although it has not come out of my mouth. So I think I'm gonna have to plan not to struggle so much with these facial expressions that I don't even be like, you just, I don't know. I think, like I said, as you get older, some of the undoing of things that we've learned to make so common and be so cautious about, it's really not that serious. You know what I'm saying? And as you adult, you have some people you keep in contact with. You talk to them every day. Some people you only talk to, every few months. And, to be apologetic about, how you show up and this, that, and the third. Like everybody got their own life going on. So we all gotta, be able to respectfully play our parts.
I will say for me, like it really wasn't a childhood thing. Listen, you know me a very long time. It was not like it wasn't like a childhood thing. Like my mom. Have you met my mom? She gonna say, and Shanetta, you've been around her. She gonna say whatever. She don't even care. She don't think twice. Like she just, and I think at the school, I'm worried about oh, I don't want people to pick on Lexi because they're like, oh, your mom is mean, or oh, your mom said this. Oh, like there was one little girl who's saying, oh, you hurt her feelings. What? Like stuff like that, or like in different settings, I'm thinking about, oh God, what are people gonna think of my husband? Because now if I say this, then they're gonna be looking at him side eye. If I do this, so it's just like for me personally, I really don't care, which is the bad side of it. But like I'm always worried about like how will it affect the people that are attached to me.
I think that a lot of times we do struggle with the fight against our own nature, is what I would call it, where it's like, do I give the fullness of who I am in this situation, or do I tone down myself to make other people comfortable or to make a situation more comfortable? And I think that there's a time and a place for everything. And there are certain times where, like, we do come with, like, it is what it is, and you get what you get. And, if you like it, you like it. If you love it, you love it. If you don't, sorry. It kind of is what it is. And then I think that there are other moments where we make the choice to either not participate because we know that that situation is not conducive to who we are as individuals, or like you were saying, is that where you consider what your response or your actions will be, how it will impact those around you, how to impact the people who do matter to you, and you choose to kind of like adjust based on those things. I do think though it's important to kind of consider, is that truly an expectation of the environment that we're going in, or is it an expectation that we're putting on ourselves because of what we think about the environment that we're going in? We think that it's I must put on, my proper and, sit crisscrossed and, be all, poised and proper in this moment. And you really don't have to be, but you end up trying to be, and then you get there or you experience it and realize these folks just as crazy as I am. Let me let my hair down and just enjoy the moment. But I think that we put expectations on ourselves a lot of times. I have a t-shirt that says, "Hang on, let me overthink this." And literally it's where I live. Like, I am going to overthink absolutely every single situation, and map it out in my mind as to what it's going to be like, as to how I should present myself in those moments. I talked to you even about me packing for like the mission trip. I ain't never been on a foreign mission trip before. I'm about to go to a whole nother country. I know I'm gonna be going to church. I know I'm gonna be going out to do mission work. I also know that I'm going to, get to vacation a little bit. What I'm supposed to look like? I packed things that I knew I wouldn't even want to put on, but I was like, it's church, and I don't know how church this is, so I want to be prepared for all things church. We already knew. I ain't gonna even say it on the air, but it was just some things like I was like, I don't even know why I got that, because I know I'm not like, we all know I like to be comfortable, and that creates the opposite of the comfort that I like. And it's like, so how much of me am I going to like present? So it was kind of like I eased into the situation. Then I was like, assess the environment. Oh, okay. I see what's happening. I'm good. I'm straight. Like, I can just do Shanetta and just be Shanetta and be okay, because Shanetta is going to fully be accepted in this environment either which way. And I think that that's important, is that we do have to assess how it's going to impact others. But at the same time, you have to be who you are, and know that you don't have bad intent. And I think that's the biggest thing, is that when you have terrible intent in general, like in nature, when you're a horrible person in nature, I think that's when like you have to put on the fronts and the facades and all that kind of stuff. But when you're a genuine person and you genuinely love the people that are a part of your life, I don't think you have to do that. And I think that anybody that makes you do that or makes you feel like you have to do that, they don't genuinely love you for who you are. And that's one of the things that I think is super important to recognize, is that if I have to put on a facade to be around you all the time, y'all are my friends. But if I can't present Shanetta to y'all as my friends, if I have to, every time I'm coming around Vanessa and Sam, I gotta make sure that this is just right and that is just right. Because if it's not, Vanessa might be offended. If I do this, Sam might be bothered. So I gotta make sure, and I can't be Shanetta because I'm going to be around Sam and Vanessa, then y'all don't really care about me as Shanetta. And I'm not, after a while, it's too draining to be around y'all. And I just don't, for me, I don't want to do that no more. I'm too old to be trying to to do all that to please and impress somebody. That's something you do when you like 12 and you're trying to make friends at a new school. I just 12. I'm not gonna do all that. If you don't like me for how I present, and there are moments where I present where it might look like I got a little ugly attitude, and I really don't. I'm in deep thought, like Vanessa said, right? I'm thinking about something completely unrelated to you. You thinking I'm looking at you funny. I'm not. I'm thinking about something off in left field. You have no idea of all the different conversations that are happening in my head and all the tabs that I have open in my head at one time. Like, I'm really not. I'm having a whole argument with my husband. You have no idea. Like, but it's silent. I don't know. Right. So it's like, just if you have to present yourself so different, then that may not be the place for you if you can't find your groove and get comfortable within that. It should not be. I just don't feel like it should be that much of a struggle to get
so I say y'all sure do have a lot of conversation in your heads.
I think for me, it saved a whole lot of people feelings getting hurt. I got to keep them conversations going, because sometimes if I don't, and I say it,
you want the conversation to happen up here
first, yes, for sure. And hopefully by the time I finish thinking it through, I done threw out thoughts 1 through 5, and maybe 5 through 10 might be, a little more admirable and edifying to what we about to say. Oh my gosh.
Well, I think those are very what he said? He said, no, be free, let it out. Don't you know better than let him encourage you.
He always gonna get you in trouble.
I was about to say, not to listen to him, because he will definitely get you in trouble.
Right.
And then right. And then when you looking, he is in the cut. Laughing. Right. So let's not listen to him. I mean, I definitely agree with you that you have to find those environments, that are conducive for who you are. I will say, like, there was some place that I wanted to go. I'm be very vague, like over the weekend, and I didn't go.
Number 8.
Hey, should definitely go down to number 8. What?
With the thoughts 1 through 5.
Oh.
8,
not number 8.
Right,
that's way down the list. That's funny. The place I was thinking about going on the weekend, and I was thinking about the people that I was gonna wind up in the room with, and I was like, this ain't gonna go well because whatever. And I just stayed home because I already knew like it wasn't going to work for me. There was, like sometimes you find yourself in those spaces where there is no good options. Look at this nut. I need at least number 2. Right. He feels that way until you unleash the number 2 on him. And then he wants you to throw down to number 37. He wants you to go way, way down to where the grass is green. And I found myself having to make a decision that it was kind of like either I'm going to go and attempt to do this or be this person, or I'm just gonna stay home. And of course, I chose to kind of stay home because I knew it wasn't going to be an environment that was good for me. Not that it was necessarily bad, but it was just going to invoke some things in me that was kind of like, better left where they are.
Right.
And so kind of like I didn't go.
Yeah. I think it's perfectly okay to say, I know that this environment is not going to produce the best me. And so because it's not going to produce the best me, I'm just not going to participate in that thing, because of course we always want to present our best selves when we're out and when we're doing things and when we're participating in things. And I think that that's a part of the honesty too about what you're struggling with. If you're honest with yourself about what you're struggling with, you know what to say no to. And that's super important. That like, this is not for me. Now, of course, you can't be like, oh, I don't like being around people, so I'm not going to my daughter's volleyball game. No, people for a little while because, like,
Right.
you know, the kid is playing volleyball and you're here for the kid, right? So we got to be people-y.
Right.
But yeah, like I do think no is okay, especially when we have that option.
Oh, believe me, I know you are heavy on the nose. She will know somebody in a minute and not think twice. And I'd be like, you can't just say no. And she'd be like, no. I'm like, how do you get away with this? How do you get away with this? And they just all be like, she said no. Like I was in another group with some
Probably
other people, and just to hear how they talk about her, you would think like she a fire breathing dragon. Like they were scared, like, nope. If she said no, that means no.
And I'm as sweet as pie.
Okay, I don't know about the pie part. that pie might be a little too much on it.
But that take practice too. I'm pretty sure Shanetta has said yes too many times and got into too many situations. I was like, you know what? My next opportunity is gonna be no. I ain't even finna think it through. Now you good. I'm gonna pass. I can recommend somebody else, or you know, if you need my support in a different way, I got you all day. But yeah, I'm it's a no for me.
Yeah.
Well, I definitely agree with you know, you were saying like I'm sorry, I'm trying not to sneeze. It felt like it was gonna come out. You know, just the part about being able to identify what you struggle with. I think that goes a long way. Like if you know that you're hot-headed, you know what I'm saying? There's some environments that you need not put yourself into.
Right.
You know, if you know that you know, like that you're an introvert. There's some places where you just don't want to go. Like, so I definitely agree with identifying what you struggle with, even if it's a silent struggle, even if nobody else around you knows that this is what you struggle with. It's important for you to know what you struggle with, so that you can plan and act accordingly. I think honestly that's the first part of being able to plan, you know, plan ahead is knowing what your struggle is, identifying it, and being able to hold it kind of in your hand and kind of just sit in that and be okay with the fact that this is my struggle, whatever it is. You know, we always talk about
Go ahead.
we always talk about, you know, people judging us and being judgmental, and sometimes we are the judge, jury, and executioner for our own selves. Like, you know, we beat ourselves up so much for the things we struggle with or for the things that don't come as easy for us. So I think you know, that identification process is extremely key for planning ahead. You also said disciplining yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Whether it's financial and you're budgeting and, you know, making not as many trips to Starbucks, or maybe getting your nails a few inches shorter, which is a little cheaper, you know, whatever those things are. I think the discipline part is extremely important as well when you're talking about planning ahead. It's kind of, you know, you have to have that goal that you want to reach, whatever it is, and then you have to be disciplined enough to put a plan into action to get to it. Like those are really, really important keys to planning ahead, to moving forward. We also talked about just, you know, that discipline part can go both ways. Sometimes it's just don't say yes to everything. You know, it's being able to say no. And sometimes for some people, it's don't say no to everything. Sometimes you have to throw in, you know, maybe some yeses, or at least squeeze out a maybe here and there. But again, it is the discipline to kind of be like, okay, you know, I said no 3 times. Let me throw in a yes. I think all those things help us in moving forward and planning ahead. Shanetta, you wanted to say
Shanetta's face did not change the whole time you was talking about.
Let me tell you something about that whole don't say no all the time.
I know.
Tried to listen to this one. Where you at? Where's the there you go, over
There you
there.
go.
That's
it. Yep.
I tried to listen to that. Don't say no, don't say no, don't say no always. It was a work situation. And I gave a maybe, and that maybe has gotten me wrangled into a whole new situation for fall that I don't even know what it's gonna look like. And I'm trying to cope ahead for something I don't even know what it's gonna look like in August. But you know, here we are.
Embrace the change. Embrace the change. Embrace the change. And then think about the different set of young lives you will be able to touch and mold.
We're praying about it. It's gonna, you know. But I was gonna say earlier with the struggle identification, I can give you 2 examples of times recently where, not really recent, well, within the last year, where I've had to identify the struggle and like kind of plan with the situation. One, very recent on the trip, I was asked to do something outside of my box for the mission trip. I was asked to be one of the speakers. And I know that whenever I get up in front of a church crowd, that my like body temperature goes to like 1,000, and that like I feel like I'm slowly melting, and that you can see all the sweat pouring out of my body. Like that's how I feel.
Dramatic.
Even though that's not really happening, it's how I feel. So what did I do? I prepared myself in advance. I bought the little neck fan that you just turn on, and I stuck that thing on like 10 minutes before when she was like, be ready in 10 minutes. And I'm like, okay. So I stuck that little fan on, turned it on, and like literally that was like my cooling point, because my temperature still went high, but I still had something to like control that to keep me from probably fainting in front of all of these people who will probably be like, oh my God, what happened to her? So like I prepared myself. So like I literally like planned ahead to keep the struggle from coming out in front of everybody else, right?
Okay.
But another one was my birthday, and we all shared in the birthday experience. So what I would tell you about with that was a plan ahead struggle that I had to be prepared for. I am not used to not having my own control, yes, but like my own car and not knowing, like, so it was like, oh, I'm coming to pick you up versus meet me here. And it was just kind of like, wait, you're coming to pick me up? Okay. So I won't have complete control. That's the best word. I won't have complete control of this situation. So I need to be prepared for whatever. Now, because I trust you, and because once I got there and realized, oh, it's my people,
right,
it made it easier to, you know, to deal with the situation, but not knowing and not having any idea. And then when I'm like looking at Mike, like, well, when I don't know it, you know, so like, what's the answers? And he's like, I ain't got no answers for you. What you mean you ain't got no answers? I don't have the answers. You don't have the answers. Both of us can't not have the answer. So to have to like let go of that and to identify that that's my struggle, is being in control of a situation, and then being willing to let go of that, to fall into it and kind of have that trust. It's kind of like the trust fall, you know, when you trusting the person to catch you. And that's literally what that was for me, because I don't usually do that. Now, would I do it again now that I know that I can trust you to, like, you know, to handle me? Absolutely. Because I'm like, you know, you didn't make me feel like I needed an escape, because I would have escaped. I always have
I'm sure.
I always have an escape plan. You ain't never gonna catch me nowhere and I can't get out of the situation. I'm gonna get out. You're not gonna kidnap me. I'm gonna get out. So that being said, I didn't have to use no escape plans. So I was good to go. Right? And I had a great time. You're right.
She's making it seem like we some kidnap ring. We don't
listen. I don't be knowing. So I just, you know, but now I can trust you. If you say you coming to pick me up, I get in the car with you.
Oh, thank you. I so appreciate that. I mean, I will say you did very well. You didn't freak out, you know. So it turned out really well. I didn't realize it was gonna be that bad for you though. But I mean, I knew you were gonna have a little. I really thought Mike was gonna give in. To be honest, I thought he was just gonna tell you because you driving him crazy. So like I wouldn't have been. I
Oh,
wasn't gonna be terribly crushed if
he
he.
went well with the plan.
See, Anthony. I don't know how much he can stand. Like if somebody don't call him because I'm gonna wear him out. Please know that. Don't call him. But yeah, it is one of those things where you have to know. I will say it turned out it was great. It was great.
Mhm.
I, we didn't kidnap her. We had a great weekend. And it's so funny, like, cause it was your birthday weekend, but like on a lot of different ends. I wish Trina was on here. Like you weren't the only one kind of doing the trust fall either, because remember we got Trina all the way
Yes.
to Georgia, right? Like
Yeah.
bag in hand, like she didn't really know kind of what she was walking into totally either. So I'm
Right.
sure for her it was probably a bit of, kind of like a trust, like I trust them all right, but I don't know. It's been a few years,
Right.
like we grown now, like so I'm sure for her it was a bit of like a trust thing too, which was kind of cool because it all worked out. So that's
And it was
great.
a lot of fun. Yes, it did work out.
Yes, it definitely all worked out, even with the naked people. Lord Jesus. I'm still
How you gonna do
traumatized.
it? Now I'm gonna have to explain to naked people.
Nope. No, I'm not. I refuse. She said, nah, it was good. I wasn't getting surprised. Oh, okay. Listen, somebody try to put me on the plane. Talk about, come on down. We're going to do what we
I'm
doing.
ready. You ain't got to tell me nothing. I'm. How long we gonna be gone? Let me make sure I get. Yeah, I'm always.
Well, listen, I already know you up for the fun, and you first in line. If they say fun, they gonna kidnap you for real. If they say it's gonna
Little
be
white
fun
man
over
with
here,
fun inside.
yes,
But
y'all.
it has some music and some lights going. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm probably good as gone. I'm sharing my location, so hopefully somebody.
Absolutely.
If they throw my phone away, I'm definitely gone. But
So yeah, definitely, when we all struggle with something. Like if like Shanita said, if you take time to really be honest with yourself, there is something that you struggle with. That doesn't make it a bad thing. It may be a bad thing. It may not be a good thing. I mean, it may be a good thing, but we all struggle with something. So, if you're struggling with something, take the time to really identify what the struggle is.
Mhm.
Not try to figure out I only struggle when I'm with her. No, deal with yourself. Figure out what's happening in you that's causing this to be a hard moment. And sometimes it is our surroundings. Sometimes it is the people that we have chosen to connect ourselves to. And what that means is going forward, you need to make different decisions. You need to not get connected to those same type of people. But we all have struggles. The most important thing to always remember is there is always a way forward. Now, it may not be an easy way forward. It may not be the way you have imagined. It may not be even the way that you would like to be able to move forward or plan ahead, but there's always an ahead. As long as you wake up and you're breathing, there's always, a road ahead that can be taken. So hopefully something we said tonight has encouraged you, even if it's just a little bit. Maybe it's helped you to identify your struggle. And you sitting there like, oh, I never realized maybe I struggle with control. Or, maybe I do struggle because I always get hot when this happens. So, maybe we said something to help you identify your struggle in this moment. And maybe we haven't. And if we haven't, take that time, sit alone for a minute, do some introspective thinking and identify what your struggle is. And then plan on how not to let your struggle hinder you. how to move ahead. Go ahead.
You know, I was just gonna say, like 9 times out of 10, you know how you was at school and they always say there's no question that's a dumb question. I don't know about that.
Right.
But what I was gonna say is 9 times out of 10, somebody else had your same struggle. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And I think as you get older, you have to, also be comfortable in having a conversation to say that, this is my issue, these are my struggle, and you will be surprised at how many of us, like if I'm dealing with it, I'm sure somebody else is dealing with the same thing. And it may not be somebody but taking comfort in the thought that you're not alone and that everybody struggle with something, like that's comforting within itself to kind of help you, start to work on how to get out of it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Not just caution
Absolutely.
that you got an escape plan. I mean, you might want to jot a few things down, make some people a cheat sheet or something. I'm so interested to find out about this escape plan, these routes. I'm just like, that's been on my mind. Like,
now, that is a rabbit hole I'm sure you don't want to go down. But guys, we are typically on Thursdays. We are trying to get back into the habit of being more consistent. But again, being a mother, being a wife, being a woman, being an adult, just adulting, period, can pull you in several different directions. So we don't always make it on Thursdays. But in our hearts, we be shooting for it. I'm telling you, we start real good. We start with the text on Monday, and then by like Wednesday, it's like, not gonna be able to do it. But but it is our goal to be on every Thursday. We are going to plan ahead and do a little better with being more consistent. So until next week, stay safe, enjoy the great new weather. Summer is here. If tanning is your thing, get a tan. If barbecuing is your thing, get invited to one. But most importantly, stay safe.
Thank you for watching.